the lending process, or just speaking about buying a home. So say if you have a first-time home buyer, what are the things they need to do before talking with a lender to buy a house? What are like kind of the first
Well,
steps?
the first thing they need to do is gather their information, come prepared. So look at getting your last 2 years W-2s. Look
Okay.
at acquiring your pay stub.
Hmm.
Look at your budget, especially for first-time home buyers. It's really important to have a budget. And the reason why is when you seem to put it on paper and you look at how much you make and what you can afford, it seems more realistic and like you can acquire that dream or that that desire to purchase something because you're more prepared for it. So the first thing I'd say is gather your information and then use the available free apps for getting your credit report or your creditreport.com, freecreditreport.com. Some of the credit bureaus nowadays, credit cards will have kind of a Credit Karma
Hmm.
score and know what your credit score is. That can help the lender kind of guide you into what product may work for you the best based on your income, your monthly debts, and then what your credit score is. It's
Okay.
there you can have lower scores for certain government funded loans than you can for other types of loans. So it's helpful to know kind of what range you're at in your credit score.
Okay. And then once you've kind of put all the documents together, like how do you determine, or like this is kind of a two-part question. Like how do you determine like how much they qualify for a home? And do you have any like parameters for like what, even if they qualify for so much of a home, how much should they really like, how much kind of like give a barometer for like how much they should actually try to buy of a home? Like, do you have any thoughts on like that process? Like how much they should qualify and how much they should actually use of that?
Yeah, we used to have an old we used to have a gauge of 28-36, 28% of your income going towards your housing and 36% of your income towards your debt obligation. But nowadays that numbers are kind of not there anymore. We really look at just what is your total debt obligation, and we typically don't like to go over about a 43%.
Okay.
We can go up to a 45 in certain instances with other compensating factors. Let's say
Hmm.
someone has got a lot of cash built up, or they have very low debt. Those things can allow you to go higher on your debt to income ratio. But we typically like to see 45% of your total income
Hmm.
going towards your house payment and your monthly debt, or 43 to 45.
Okay.
That's kind of the rule of thumb these
So that
days.
seems like that seems like the maximum limit. So it's not necessarily something that
That
you
is correct.
that's the maximum limit. But do you have
Yes.
a recommended of like for somebody who doesn't want to like they don't want to take too big of a risk because they wanted to get a really nice house, but they probably don't want to go at the maximum. So do you have a recommended like number of saying like the monthly payment should be like
Yeah, I think
25%
if
of
you
your
keep
income
people
or
below
something like that?
43%, if you keep people below that, you're going to qualify. 41 is kind of the rule of thumb for VA,
Hmm.
41, 42. So somewhere in that 41, 43 debt to income ratio is typical. And we look at a current housing payment to see if there is a payment shock. So if someone's used to paying rent, they're paying $2,400 a month in rent or $2,000, and they're going to purchase a home, and that house payment with taxes and everything is about 22 to 24. They've been comfortably paying close to that anyway. So
Okay.
that's the one thing we look at. If you have someone who's been making $800 house payment, rent, and then they're jumping into a $2,000 house payment, that's a payment shock. And we
Yes.
kind of look at that as well.
Okay.